Alright, welcome back everybody. Today we're going to be looking at an old chemistry textbook from 1883. But before we get into it, I just wanted to thank all of you for continuing to watch these videos and for supporting the channel. I love being able to share these old books with all of you, and I appreciate the nice feedback you have been giving me. If you want to directly support the channel and help it grow, you can become a member of the new Patreon by following the link on the screen or in the description of this video. Becoming a member of the Patreon is the best way to show your support for the channel and the best way to help me continue to make this content. Members of the Patreon will also get access to additional content, such as high-quality scans of select books featured on the channel, including the book featured in this video. Alright, so let's get started. Today we're going to be looking at Practical Chemistry by Stevenson McAdam. Here we can see the exterior covers, which are a sort of faded purple color. The covers are pretty well worn, but they're still intact. You can read the title on the front cover, Practical Chemistry, and you can also see this chemical apparatus here in the center, enclosed in a circle. I think it's some sort of burner, but I'm not really sure. The front cover is also surrounded by this decorative border, and on the spine we can see the title and author's name in gold, and then on the back cover we just have some bordering and a few prominent stains. Alright, so let's open it up and take a look inside here. Okay, so here we've got the title page, and we can see straight away that this was part of the Chambers' educational course. I'm not sure which other books were involved in that course, but this appears to be one of them. And if we read the title page, we can see here it says Practical Chemistry by Stevenson McAdam, PhD, FRSE, FCS, lecturer on chemistry in the Medical School, Surgeons Hall, and to the School of Arts, Edinburgh, etc., illustrated by woodcuts with new nomenclature and notation, and this was published by W&R Chambers at London and Edinburgh in 1883. Alright, and then next we have the preface, and here it says, "This treatise is intended for the use of students of medicine and of arts, and of advanced pupils in educational institutions. It is arranged in as simple a manner as possible, and the tests and processes given in the work are restricted to those substances which are to be met with in everyday life. The treatise may be regarded as introductory to the larger works on the same subject, and in the hands of an intelligent teacher will serve as a guide to the conduction of classes in practical chemistry. The special object contemplated in the issue of this little volume is to supply an elementary work which would be as serviceable in the laboratory or testing room as the companion treatise on chemistry has been found to be in the lecture room. The subjects comprehended in the following pages are of a general nature, and the students of medicine and of arts, who wish to examine more fully the materials which specially pertain to those departments of knowledge, are recommended to make themselves familiar with the contents of this volume, and thereafter to consult the larger textbooks on practical and analytical chemistry." Okay, so let's go further here and just take a look at the table of contents here. So we can see there's a section for an introduction, the operations and analysis, and that includes pulverization, solution, decantation, filtration, precipitation, evaporation, distillation, sublimation, ignition, fusion and fluxing, deflagration, and the use of the blowpipe. And then we have reagents employed in testing, a list of the reagents more commonly used, starting with alcohol. And then we've got a large list there, and then the reagents less commonly used in the first series, and then we have a second series of reagents less commonly used. And then down here we've got testing of known substances by reagents, testing of the metallic oxides, and then the first group of metallic oxides there. And you can see this just goes on. We've got all of these different sections, and it ends with systematic qualitative analysis. And then we begin the book. We've got the introduction right here. I'll read just a little bit of that. So it says, Practical Chemistry, Introduction. The department of chemistry which relates to the examination of substances in order to determine their nature and composition is designated practical and analytical chemistry, and the pursuit of this branch of science necessitates that the student or pupil has command of various vessels and pieces of apparatus, as well as a number of chemical substances which may be employed in the course of testing. Practical chemistry, in the widest sense of the term, comprehends all the processes by which materials may be joined together to form definite compounds, and the methods which may be followed in separating simpler bodies from compound substances. But in the restricted sense in which it will be used in this treatise, it will simply relate to those properties of substances which distinguish the many chemical elements and compounds from each other. Analytical chemistry is the branch of practical chemistry which specially takes cognizance of the characters and tests of the simple and compound substances, and of the processes which enable us to separate bodies from each other, and to determine the relative quantities of each. When the analytical operations are merely confined to the testing of the nature of the ingredients, it is called qualitative analysis, whilst when the quantity of each component is determined, the process is then known as quantitative analysis. The former must always precede the latter, as we must first know the quality or nature of the ingredients of a compound before we can proceed to estimate the quantity of each. The present treatise will be confined to qualitative analysis. Okay, so the introduction then goes on. It shows a table of elementary substances, and then it also gives some diagrams of different vessels and apparatus required for testing, as we can see here. I really like these illustrations. I think they're pretty. And in fact, if you look closely here at figure 7 on this page, I'm pretty confident that's the same image that we see on the very cover of the book, if we take a look at that again. And figure 7 is a spirit lamp with cotton wick and alcohol, or Bunsen lamp, supplied with gas and air admitted below for heating vessels. So it's essentially a Bunsen burner. And we can see a number of other vessels here. So let's take a look at figure 11 and see what that is. So we see that strange shape there, that glass figure, and figure 11 is it says several watch glasses and pieces of glass tubing. So that just must be an example of one. And we've got a figure 16, a small porcelain mortar. Figure 17, a pair of iron forceps. And then continuing on, this book is just filled with all of these great illustrations here. And all of them are marked as figures, so you can reference them in the text and see what they're referring to. So here we have this section showing distillation, and figure 29 has the apparatuses set up there for that process. Distillation, it says, this process is carried on when it is desirable to retain the liquid which leaves a substance on evaporation. The apparatus which is employed for the purpose may either consist of a retort or a receiver, where the material to be distilled is placed in the bulb of the retort, and when heat is applied, the liquid rises in vapor and passes over into the receiver, or where larger quantities of liquids are to be distilled very carefully, Liebig's condenser, which is shown here in figure 30, is used, and the substance to be operated upon being placed in the flask or retort A, and heat being applied, the vapors rise and pass by the tube BB to the receiver D, while a current of cold water is allowed to flow from a tank through an outer tube CC. And then we've got a section for sublimation here as well, ignition, etc. And then later on in the book, we have a section for the testing of the acids. And if we read that, we can see it says, the acid substances which form the second half of the majority of compounds are classified under two divisions. First, the inorganic acids, or those which are derived from the mineral kingdom, and second, the organic acids, or those which are directly or indirectly obtained from the vegetable or animal kingdoms. The acids belonging to either class and which are known to chemists are numerous, but there are many of these which are not common, and indeed are very rare, and we shall only refer to those which are likely to be encountered in everyday life. Generally, the organic acids may be recognized from the inorganic acids by the charring or decomposition which occurs on the application of heat, and a special table will be devoted to the consideration of these organic acids. But there are two well-known acids of organic origin, dihydric oxalate, oxalic acid, and hydric cyanide, hydrocyanic acid, which, alike from the non-charring which many of their compounds exhibit when heated, and also from their giving indications in testing which are similar to some of the inorganic acids, render it necessary that they should be associated with the inorganic acids during the course of testing. And here we can also see this chart listed out, the table of the group test for the inorganic acids. Alright, so that is just a sense of what's in this book here. Practical Chemistry from 1883. And if you like this video or you like this book, please subscribe and leave us a comment and let us know what types of books you want to see. Check out the Patreon and consider becoming a member if you want to look at the entirety of this book. It'll be uploaded on there. Yeah, alright. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.